I'm here in the Dell booth at Computex 2026, and I am shocked by this XPS 13. Now, I saw a little preview of it at CES, and they told me that it would be the most affordable XPS ever, and to my ears, that was $1,200 looking at it, and it's $699. How the hell did you guys make it $699? It's really freaking good. I can't believe it. Let's have a look. Now, the Achilles heel of almost every single cheap Windows laptop is the display, and Dell has not cheaped out there. It's actually really freaking good. So this right here is a 2.5K LCD display with a 500 nit peak brightness. It does 30 to 120 hertz, so double the MacBook Neo, and also it does 100% of DCI P3, which means that you can actually properly edit like professional photos and videos on this from at least a screen perspective. Like, this shows you way more color than a MacBook Neo, and it looks great. Like, here we have the XPS 13 and the XPS 14, and the 14 I just got pretty mad at for how expensive it was, and like, you can tell that the OLED on the 14 is better, but in this bright room, like, the 13's really holding up. Here I've got a MacBook Neo, and one of the things that Apple really pushed forward in this price bracket when they released it is just how well built the chassis is for the price. And looking here, there's a bit of flex. And then the XPS is, I think it's better. Like, this is a full CNC aluminum chassis. Now, having really high chassis rigidity means that the keyboard has an excellent chance of being good. So let's see how this is. Now, the keys themselves are really good. They are extremely consistent, and I didn't have much trouble getting up to full speed, but I think that the grade of this is going to depend on the size of your hands. If you have some slightly smaller hands, it's probably going to be like a very solid A. For me personally, I think it's more like a B+, A- territory, because my hand's just falling off of the edge, so it's kind of sharp down here, and I can feel my hands, like, they probably start cramping after a couple hours of typing just because I can't comfortably hit the palm rest. As for the trackpad, we don't get Force Touch or anything particularly fancy like you would on the XPS 14, but this glass top trackpad we have here is accurate. The click feel is good, even if you can't press it like right up at the top. I have no problems with it. As for the performance, of course, you are not going to be getting the most of it at this price point, but it is still quite good. This has Intel's Wildcat Lake processors. These were recently released, and that has Intel's 18A process, so it should still be quite energy efficient, and we have 6 cores, 2 performance, and 4 efficiency. The touchscreen, yep, forgot about that. It also starts with only 8 gigabytes of RAM, so if you want to hit that price point, you're not going to be hitting many Chrome tabs, but they do have up to 32 gigabytes available, which I really appreciate, because something like the Neo would be so much better if you could get even 16. And speaking of upgrades, you aren't stuck with that Wildcat Lake processor if you want a little bit more juice. This can be optioned with a Core Ultra 7, and that's the 4xe core version. So you don't have those crazy graphics like the 12xe core ones, but apparently that would take up more space on the motherboard, then that motherboard would be bigger, and then the whole chassis would be bigger, and then that's not what they wanted. They wanted something that's nice and small, and they have really achieved it. This thing right here is a single kilogram, and it's also only 12.7 millimeters thick. One thing that I love is standard is Wi-Fi 7. So no matter what processor you choose, you are getting ball-in Wi-Fi. One thing that you don't get, no matter what processor you choose, is a headphone jack. With Wildcat Lake, you get 2 USB 3s, and on Panther Lake, those get upgraded to 2 Thunderbolt 4s. Now, before I get too mad about the complete lack of a headphone jack, let's have a gander inside and see if it physically could have gone anywhere. It is pretty packed. Maybe down here, move this around. As for cooling, we have a single heat pipe and 2 fans. This is good for 25 watts normally, and if you want to boost it up for 35, it can do that, probably just briefly though. For the SSD, it starts at 512 gigabytes, and you can upgrade it, although if you want to, just make sure that you get a 2230 because it's a little boy. In here we can also see that we have 4 speakers, so 2 downfiring woofers and 2 tweeters on either side. There's also a 52 watt-hour battery, which they say will get you 17 hours of Netflix at 200 nits. Overall though, I am stoked stoked about the new XPS 13. Like, this display at the price point is unbelievable. I had them confirm with the engineers, and it has an average delta E of 0.79. That's like better than a lot of pro monitors. Holy frig, this thing's awesome. Another device I was really excited about is this right here, the Alienware 15 gaming laptop. It's another thing that has been designed to hit a good price point, and it has decent power, quite good rigidity right here, and a display that does 62% of sRGB. Don't buy it, that's awful. Like, we can look at Task Manager, it looks bad. These icons look like An Alienware display that I am excited about though is right here. This is the AW3626QW, and it is a tandem OLED with RGB stripes. So on a lot of OLEDs, you will have RGB and then a W, and the W is what gets you the high brightness of the display, but that means that when you have bright scenes, the saturation of your colors is going to drop. On this guy right here, it just has RGB, and that means you don't see saturation changes as the scene gets brighter. And as a bonus, you don't have problems with text clarity, where it can be like kind of jaggy and fringy looking if the subpixels aren't laid out right. It also has a 5K resolution, 165 Hertz, up to 1300 nits peak brightness, and a delta E of under 2 with 99% DCI-P3 coverage. So you can use this for gaming, and you can also use it for professional color work, and both of them will do very well. Now, I don't have official pricing yet, but the target is around 1100 USD, which for this much display is pretty damn good, and it's expected to drop later this summer. And finally, I think we need to thank Apple, because I have a sneaking suspicion with how awesome that XPS is. They weren't planning on having it being $699 when they started designing it. But huge thanks for watching. Hit like, get subscribed, and maybe check out our Patreon to support us. I don't know if this video has a sponsor.